Hello ladies and gentlemen, let's do Inside My Head. It may not look like it's a good time control for the Inside My Head, but we are playing with 8 seconds increment on the 5 minutes, so that should suffice. On the menu is a French defense and the Winawer variation, which is a very complex and really deep line within the French, and it requires really good understanding from both sides, which can be quite off-putting for many to play it. Now, against Queen c7, which I reckon is one of the most adventurous way to play the French is black, and I recommend if you are a French player to play like that. I like to play this early bishop d3 sortie, and c4 indeed is one of the potential and possible plans that black can go for. Should I play here a4 or not? I think I should, because I don't really want to allow queen a4. Where black usually plays knight c6, bishop d7, castles, and then tries to blast the center apart with f6. And usually white does something along the lines of moving this queen, g4, f4, knight f3, and play on the king side, which is what I'm intending to do here. Knight d7 is very weird. I totally understand it. It's very greedy. So what he wants to do is to just gobble up this pawn. Okay, so knight f3 is logical. Knight b6, knight g5, knight a4, queen h5. Happy days. Let's do that. Yeah, this I find very suspicious. Usually black plays here knight c6, and then bishop d7 and castles, and plays for f6. I myself used to like playing like that as white. Do we go knight g5 or do we go... No, let's go queen h5, because that's going to keep him guessing about our further intentions. Also note that when knight takes, temporarily black self-pins himself, which is very awkward. Bishop d7, knight g5 is still same story. And I do have knight g5 even if they play h6, which is quite noteworthy because of the pin on the h file. Man, it so sucks that I can't listen to music. So the only reason why I'm wearing my headphones is because I like the sound of the pieces. I didn't know that my rapid rating was 2500 on leeches. That's quite impressive, actually. Good way to ruin it now. Clearly the 5-8 is good enough for me to take a fair bit of time to think plans through. So what would I do if I was black here? Not that. Nah, I'm kidding. I don't know what I would have done. But I think his hand is now forced to play g6, which is a very ugly weakening move. And after queen back to h3, note how I'm guarding this. Something will take me on a4. Actually, I could come back here. And then g4, and the knight is, yeah, tied to the defense. Okay. Let's think for a second here, shall we? If I came back here, I guess h6, knight f7, king f7, g4. Let's say knight a4, gf, and if ef takes back, then d5 is a bit weak, but bishop c6 may be able to cover it up well enough. If I come back here, yeah, I prefer this. My secondary plan is to play g4 and then come back in here. g4, queen here. Seems to be quite frustrating from what I can tell. We'll see how he reacts to this. The knight on g5 is quite frustrating because he can no longer castle here without allowing this. And even if he plays h6, like I said, that's still pinned, so there is no threat associated with that move yet. That being said, It's an interesting concept to play it, because otherwise g4, queen h6 is incoming. So if h6, g4, knight e7, then I'm a bit stuck for the next move. Maybe queen h4 with the idea of taking that, and then queen check. That's super cheeky, but cool. Wow, check that out. That's actually very nice. h6, g4, knight e7, and queen h4. And what that does is that it puts the queen on the diagonal, so that I'm threatening to take on f7, and if the king takes, I have a queen check, which attacks the king, the rook, and the knight. So if the king goes this way, I take the rook. If the king goes this way, I take the knight. Hope that was easy to follow. Dimenticator. Who are you? You are Dimenticator, apparently. Okay, so he didn't bother doing any of that, and he just went for material. Like I said, this pin scenario is very awkward for black. Super duper unpleasant. And the knight is also somewhat misplaced. Like, they are ideally placed here and here if the threat is to take this, but that ain't gonna happen. I would love to know what he's thinking about, because that's virtually his only legal move. Yeah, I'm very confused. Either I'm missing something or he's wasting time. Nah, he's wasting time. Okay, knight e7. My original plan was queen h6. And again, he can't castle because I take, and otherwise queen g7. Maybe that will be the time when he chooses to castle, because then after knight f7 he will have a tempo rook move on my queen. But then again, note that the knight, worst case scenario, will come back here. I will castle here, bring the rook here, and all of a sudden those two rooks on those two files are going to bring on the nasty. I want some nasty, said Mr. Popovich. And he was a great brain. So I guess it's only fair that we quote him here. Yeah, no idea. Why are you thinking, dude? Like, you have nothing but 97 here. Trust me, I checked. I'm baffled. I have no idea what he's thinking about. Ask him if he's there, because I have a bad feeling that he's not. Yeah, he's there. Alright, so just before we quickly execute that move, do we go here or here? If I went there, that was a very dirty threat, which I quite like, to be honest. Yeah, man, I can't decide between these two. They are so good, both. I reckon if I played queen h4, he may play queen d8 to defend the knight, so that after knight takes, king takes check, he has got... Oh, but even then bishop h6 is mate. Kind of. He has knight f5. Nah, I want to see this. I want to see this through. Let me just think for a second. What would he do if I went there? Because this looks dirty too. Here. So if I went there, let's say he goes back here. I go queen g7, he castles, I go knight d6. He goes rook g8, I take this. He goes rook f8. That looks terrible for black. What happens if I go here though? Queen b6, knight f6 takes, knight f7. Yeah, okay. I like this. Such a sneaky move. Okay, there is one thing I didn't reckon with. Knight here. Oh, I still win with this. Okay, because after king takes check, king g8, bishop h6 is mate. Provided that I didn't miss this check. Bugger. Check, king he check, king g2 is fine. Whew, okay. That's good to know. Oh boy. it turned out that my chess sense did not let me down in regards to this being too long and too greedy. And that must have come to him as an unpleasant shock. I think he thought that this was just a move to prevent castling, but not quite. This is a move that is going to trigger resignation. It's easy to fall for tricks when the rest of the bunch is so far away from the main battleground. But now he just got mated, right? GG! Booyah! Now that was a game I liked. Because although he played poorly with this knight shebang, I think I did really well to exploit it. G to the G is the GG. And he resigned and he said, well played. So we'll say thank you. All right, let's put this under the microscope of the analysis and see what we can learn from this. So, okay, that's better. I was wondering what my engine thought about this line. So knight f5. Yeah, I actually didn't remember this correctly because I think I have a file on queen h3 and queen h5, both moves intended to play g4, but I got a little bit scared about this queen a4 idea. So what happens here? Let me see. Ah, we sack. Of course we do. I actually have a similar line in a similar game in my upcoming course. And white just turns on the heat like mad. But this is still a game to be fought. Okay, so a4, sus. Maybe a bit. Maybe not. And knight d7, look at the bar going up. Like I told you as soon as it came that, suspicious. Turns out my call was correct on that. Knight f3, knight b6. Queen h5. I'm pretty much playing engine moves. I'm rather impressed. Yeah, I did tell you that even after h6 I had knight g5, which I intended to do. So what does Stockfish say to that? Yeah, he doesn't say it's total garbage, so that's good news. Although after rook f8 he wants me to come back. Can I not go here? Yeah, okay, but after knight e7 I still have to retreat. So what happens? If I come back this way, then f4, f5 is hard to pull off. Yeah, so now the problem is that if I come back here, then I can't play for f4, f5 like I wanted to. If I come back here, then he simply gets to play his plan of castling here, and in fact him playing for f6, rerouting the bishop, and all of a sudden all black pieces make perfect sense. The king is super safe, and I find it difficult to play for f5 like I want to. Maybe f5 takes castles. Is this legit? Yeah, legit-ish. Nah, okay, fair enough. So maybe h6 was a better move than what it did. So here we went for knight g5. And castles is apparently the best move here, which I totally didn't see. So I don't understand it though. Why don't I have... So if I take, obviously he wants bishop e8. Okay, this is cool. I totally missed this. And I'm very embarrassed that I did. Because this is the very first move I would have done, should have thought myself, that knight g5 was played to prevent castle. So what's the first move you look at? Of course you look at castle. And all of a sudden, I am in a bit of a pickle. This is a fascinating line. Check this out. And then take this, and then these pieces are very awkward. But it's not good enough. And if g4, knight h6, and then castles, that's probably the better way to play it, because now at least this knight is really poorly misplaced. And if knight a4, then f4, and now we have got the plan rolling, and this is still hanging. I like this. This is good. Okay, I saw none of it. Shame on me. Oh, queen f3 was the better after all. See, I did call out this line with knight here, which of course was idiotic because now I have g4. So we needed to have a look at this. Or maybe this was the line I called out. And I didn't see it clearly better for white, but the engine seems to disagree with me. Excuse me. I preferred, instead of this that I just showed you them, so instead of this position, I preferred to go for this, which I thought was quite smart. And my plan was that after h6, g4, knight here, I wanted to come here. Ha! Baby! Your assessment moved around a bit, didn't it? Oh, am I missing? Oh, because of knight g7. But who on earth would play knight g7? That's not a chess move. Absolutely, it is, says Stockfish. Okay, queen h4, knight a4, knight f3. I mean, I'm a piece up, right? Surely this is better for white. Yeah, nah, this is not. I'm not buying that. Okay, so we went g4 back and bugger. Queen h6 was better. Queen h6 is way better than queen h4. Dang it. Okay, so plan was castles, knight here. Hang on, no, that was not the plan. That never was the plan, actually. The plan was here. I thought he would do some pass, and after queen g7 would he castle. And then do something like this. This is where I... Oh, bugger, I didn't see this. Okay, this is knockout. I should have gone for this. I got so fascinated by this knight f7 plan. And according to the engine, he actually needs to force it to happen so that he can go into this. Yeah, that I misevaluated. I have to say that queen h6, which I did see, should have enjoyed priority. I got too cocky here. Luckily, I got paid off with a nice mate, but in hindsight, I really should have played queen h6 and attack like mad. Interesting game, guys. I hope you didn't mind it. It was a bit of an insight into the French Winawer with this very unique structure with c4. By the way, the idea behind bishop d3 is that if they take, then after takes, I take on g7, which is a largely improved version of the mainline Winawer, where you take right away. Or not, when I say improved, and altered is a better way to put it, because now, because of this happens, I have to play threatens. I have to play knight e2. In my line, this bishop is already here, and this is where computer evaluations are tricky, because this is the main line, but it's insanely difficult to play this for white. It really is. Black has so much initiative, and in this line that I am playing, it's usually the opposite. The material is in balance more so. But white has got a lot of momentum here, and far better development compared to the main line. So that's where this is coming from. Now the c4 structures are really difficult to play and understand, because usually white is the one attacking on the king side in the French, and here, when played correctly, very often it is actually black who wins the game on the king side by virtue of pulling out an f6, then either trading here or even better trading like that, opening up the g file, and equally importantly bringing this bishop around here where it's really powerful. And at the same time, yes, I can throw in a rook here and then rook here, but when the queen goes back to c7, I don't really have the ability to utilize the bishops in this side of the board. And so this is very, very complicated and difficult to assess, this type of position, but a lot of fun to play for sure. So if you are mature enough to engage with the French Winawer, I would highly recommend it to play it. The only downside of the Winawer is that essentially you are playing the very same structure against e4 all the time, every time, which is a little bit undesired. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will be back with more soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.